All right, what's up, guys? It's Dr. Dan, and we got a new patient, Seth, here in the office today. Seth is a high school wrestler. He's currently going through the electrical union. He's been an electrician for about 4 or 5 years now, right, ma'am?
Oh, about 2 or 3.
2 or 3 years, so a little less, but you still have 1 or 2 to go.
Yeah.
This is Seth's first appointment here in the office. Previous history, he was a wrestler throughout high school. No major injuries, no major broken bones, no major surgeries, right?
Nope.
Awesome. So we're going to get right into the treatment. And first, we're going to talk a little bit about his posture as he sits. And this is very common for a lot of people throughout the day, where we just start to kind of like roll forward and just round at the back a little bit. And as we do with all of our patients here, we try to, every appointment, get people educated on how to properly just sit up through the mid-back a little taller. Pull your shoulder blades back real gently, and we want to teach him how to engage his back chain. His back chain are his lat muscles, his erector muscles, down the spine, the rhomboid muscles, throughout the shoulder blades, to help eliminate some of the tension that develops from this front chain dominance, or what we call upper cross syndrome. And upper cross syndrome is where the pec muscles start to get tight, the front of the neck muscles like the SCM, the scalene muscles, we'll start to kind of just roll the shoulders forward a little bit. And then we end up with, we can end up with headaches, we can end up with neck pain, we can end up with adhesive capsulitis or tightness down in the shoulders. And in Seth's case, we're feeling that the front over here of his right shoulder is a little tighter than the left shoulder. So we know right off the get-go that he's a little imbalanced in this upper right quadrant. And no headaches, no major health issues, correct?
Nope.
Awesome. Have you had any shoulder pain, any neck pain?
Yeah.
Definitely more on the right side than the left side.
Yep.
So your body, it's going to tell you with one, lack or reduced range of motion, okay? So if we raise his left arm up, let's just see how this looks. And we can get overhead pretty decently, but his left shoulder kind of hikes up. So if you pull your shoulder blade down, do you see how that feels? Mm-hmm. And we can get this left elbow back pretty decently, but we're going to see after his adjustment, it's going to be a little easier. Raise the right arm up. Oh, see how much stiffer on this side? And now this right elbow bends a little bit, and his neck is real tight. So pull this right shoulder blade down. See how you can't do that on this right side? Let's do left side up again. We can see how his elbow can come back almost past his ear right here. But over on the right side, we don't get back past the ear. We get pretty much about in line with the ear, shoulder down. And he has a very hard time at packing the shoulder or activating like the serratus anterior muscles, the lat muscles, the oblique muscles down here. And so we know right now that his spine, his clavicles, and his shoulders, they're just like a little more rolled forward on this right side. So we're going to start off like you guys have seen in other videos with some muscle work up into the neck, down into the right shoulder, the right mid-back, just to free up some of the scapular and the neck adhesions that develop in the muscular system. And we're going to finish his treatment with some overhead stretching, maybe even some doorway hanging to help him develop better strength down here in his lats and his mid-back. When we pump his shoulders, and what we do with the shoulder pump, we put our hands right on the glenohumeral head, which is kind of like your big ball and socket up here in the shoulder. And we can feel that his left shoulder can pump a little bit. And what I mean by that is when I pull back on his glenohumeral joint, which sits up here in the scapular fossa, is that it moves a little bit. But the right side of his shoulder and the right side of his neck is a lot tighter. So the shoulder joint is actually kind of like compressed like this. And this is what will cause rotator cuff impingement, bursitis of the shoulder, just right side neck pain. We palpated his neck before we started the video, and definitely over on the right side of his neck, he's just kind of like all congested and things are just tightened up. So with muscle work number 1, with chiropractic adjustments number 2, and giving him some rehab exercises to work on at home, we want to teach him how to like decompress his neck. And it all starts with how we sit throughout the day. Shoulders back a little bit. We want to get him powerful in his back chain so that he can sit on the couch, he can sit in his car while he drives to work, he can sit at his desk if he's doing any paperwork, and we want to sit gently in that back chain, okay? So let's start off with a little hypervolt. Hypervolt's awesome for reducing muscle tension and really just stimulating whatever area it is that we're working on to eliminate some of the tightness and improve circulation. Have you ever had this done to you before?
Yeah.
You guys have one at home, right?
Yep.
So a lot of patients and a lot of people are buying these hypervolts or any of the other like massage guns that you can buy, the vibration guns at home, because they are incredible at-home treatment tools. We'll recommend our patients, our husbands, our wives, our boyfriends, our girlfriends, people that come in that have a couple or that are a couple. We'll say, hey, get a hypervolt or a ached away massage gun. You guys have seen that in some of the other videos. And start doing 5 to 10 minutes on your spouse or your significant other so that we can just really start to get some at-home treatment. It'll help you to feel better. It'll help some of your ailments, some of your aches and pains. Where we're doing the hypervolt at today, guys, up around the scapular border. So many patients, really, everybody gets that upper cross syndrome where the head and the neck and the shoulders start to roll forward. Muscle tension starts to develop. The trap muscles get tight, the scalene muscles get tight, and it starts to pull that whole body. These muscles start to pull the body into that forward position. We want to stay out of the forward position. We want to stay into our back chain. Look down for me, brother. And we're going to hit like the top of the scapula. And this is right where the supraspinatus is, the levator scapula. The scalene muscles up here on the side of the neck. We're not going to use the hypervolt on the scalenes, but we are going to use some hands-on manual therapy or myofascial release to that area. Lean your head over to the left for me, dude. Do you feel when you pull over there how this like neck just pulls a little bit? Mm-hmm. And then we're going to treat below the spine of the scapula. And the spine of the scapula is this little bony prominence right here in the shoulder blade. Shoulders back for me, dude. We're going to start to just get some vibration therapy into the infraspinatus and down here into the teres minor and major muscles. These are the muscles that we want to get stronger. These are the muscles that we want to get longer. And that's 2 words that we'll commonly say, stronger and longer. We want you to be loose, but strong and flexible in the right places. We want you to be, we want to increase the tension, the strength down here in the lower scapula. To ultimately, as life goes on, help us to not develop any kind of excessive curvature or humping in the base of the neck. A lot of people will get that little rounding or that little hump in the back of the neck, like right through here. Long term, we can end up with nerve radiation and pain down into the arms, the fingers. We can get radiation up into the head, causing headaches, migraines, or just general neck discomfort. Sit up a little taller for me, dude. Awesome. All right. Now we're going to start with some manual therapy over on the right side of his neck. And 2 different pathways that we like to utilize here. We like to either work down to up or up to down. And I typically start with down to up movements. Look down for me. Look down for me. Very common. Do you feel that bump right there, brother? Mm-hmm. So very common when we've got like a lot of neck tension in the muscular system, that the lymphatic system gets clogged up and congested. So it is super common if he came in here saying, I've got this right shoulder, right neck pain, which is what his complaints are today. It is very common that we will find some lymphatic swelling or lymphatic congestion up in the side of the neck where these lymph nodes are. And he's got a pretty big guy right here, a pretty big lymph node that we're working on. The lymphatic system needs to drain. It needs to kind of pull all kinds of stuff, all kinds of junk, environmental toxins, chemicals found within the blood system, oxidative stress chemicals that our body naturally produces. The lymphatic system has to pull this fluid out of the circulatory system and out of the muscular system. And the lymphatic system has to drain all that fluid way down into the digestive tract. And our body has to excrete it through the urine and the stool. Look down. Now head up, chest up, shoulders back a little bit. Look straight forward for me, right there. And then let's lean the head over to the left, and then over to the right, and over to the left. There's a little adjustment right there, a little pop in the neck. Lean to the right, lean to the left. And now we're hitting our up to down, our superior to inferior muscle and connective tissue, myofascial release pattern, to really help elongate from the ear to the shoulder to decompress the neck. And you've probably heard me say it in some of the other videos if you have watched some of the other adjustment videos. The neck muscles, all the muscles in the body, they get wrinkled, they get tightened up. We develop and experience areas of tension throughout the body. And just like when you iron clothes, you know, we're helping to really just reduce the wrinkles. We're helping to elongate these upper neck muscles. Good. And now we're going to work around that superior angle or the border of the scapula. And we're going to hit a little bit of the supraspinatus tendon right here. And we're just going to kind of help flush and elongate that muscle. Look up straight for me. Look down straight for me. Look up. And also the levator scapula, a little bit of the rhomboids. Look up. Look down. Look up. Look down. Look up. Look down. Look up. Look down. Can you feel how tender that is right through there? Down. Maybe a little sore right through that spot. Look up. Look down. 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 Look up. And down. And now up. And now down and to the left. Look up. And down and to the left. And now we're switching gears. And we're going to work a little more in the upper trap, up and down, and a little bit more in the supraspinatus. And we're going to flush. Look up. Look down. Look up. Look down. Look up. Look down. Look up. Look down. Good. And we're going to start to flush some of this just congestion down into his arm. And then we're going to do a little bit on the right side, but just not as much. Look up straight. The tone of his muscles over on this left side, the tension is much less on the left than on the right. Look up, look down. Look up, look down. Look up, look down and hold it. Look up, look down and hold it. Look up, look down. Good. And already that's freed up his right shoulder a little bit. Let's raise your right arm up overhead. Oh, see how much further back we can get.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy, right? So now his elbow passes his ear, all right? Or it comes a little bit more overhead. Pull your shoulder down gently for me. Relax down. Let's see what this left side does. On the left side, you see how we can pretty much pass his whole head up nice and high? We can pass his whole ear on this left side. So let's see what happens after the neck adjustment, after the mid-back adjustment. Let's go face down on the table for me, brother. All right, so visually down in the lower body, we're taking a look at his feet, and we're seeing that both of his feet, left side more than right side, kind of turn out a little bit. That's not a good pattern for the legs and for the hips. It indicates that way high up in the hips, his hip muscles, the glute med, the IT band, those guys get a little tight. As they get tight, they start to pull and turn the feet out like this. So as you guys have seen some of the videos on the GOTA stuff is amazing because it helps us when we do the correct exercises and we train correctly. It helps us to get nice and flexible in the knee, the front of the hip. We get nice and strong in the back chain. Go ahead, push for me, dude. And stop. And push. And stop. Push. And stop. But Seth here, not too bad in the front chain. We can get push one more time. We can get the heel almost touching the butt. Here in the office, all of our clients, we want to get push and stop. We want to be able to get really this inner portion of the foot right here, the big toe, to kind of touch down here to the glute. Push and stop. Push and stop. Lots of people will have like cracking or crepitus in their knee. Push one more time. Stop. We heard a couple little pieces of it, but as we hyperflex the knee here, we're really stretching the quad out, the patellar tendon. Push. We're getting onto the toes and we're getting his whole front chain. Stop. From the toes the whole way up into the hip flexor, nice and long. One more time. Push and stop. Man. Good. Let's see what that left leg looks like. This side's probably going to be a little tighter, and it definitely is. Push, stop, and you can see here how far away we are heel to butt. Push, stop, and what that's telling me, push, and he's feeling it. Stop, push, and stop. Is that the muscles on the front of the body, the front chain, push and stop. So guys on the video, just note how far away we are here to here, heel to butt. Let's check that right side again. And we can really kind of get almost only 1/4 of an inch or 1/2 an inch here. See how much more flexible this right side is? Yeah. So from a systemic body view, push. We know that he's got right shoulder, right neck tightness. And now we know he's got left front hip tightness. This is very common to have like left hip, right shoulder, or left shoulder, right hip imbalance. Push. Stop. Push. And stop. And what I'm doing up here, I'm getting on his toes. I'm really getting some nice toe extensor stretching. Push. And stop. Good, back down. Now we're going to use the hypervolt around the hips, around the glutes, around the IT band, just to stimulate the muscles. You might find this a little ticklish. Some of these areas might be a little tender, Seth, but this is a great exercise, a great treatment to just stimulate the area, which is going to help activate some of the neurology. The muscles are going to relax a little bit. We're going to improve the circulation. We're going to get his pelvis, his sacrum, and his hip bones to just loosen up a little bit. He's going to work on deep breath in and deep breath out. As I'm here, I'm observing that he's breathing pretty good diaphragmatically. When he takes a deep breath in, you can see how his lumbar spine elevates a little bit. Sometimes when we see patients, there'll be primary chest breathers. So you'll really see like their their thoracic spine kind of elevating. In Seth's case though, he's a pretty good diaphragm breather. And we might coach him on just some diaphragmatic breathing exercises and different core strengthening exercises to ultimately help balance his hips and his low back out. Okay. What you guys can see before we even start is this area of his spine is a little more elevated than the left side. And like we know that his right shoulder's rolled forward, he's got a little bit more tension throughout the right side of his mid-back. A lot of these muscles connect through fascial connections through the thoracolumbar fascia, and the muscles kind of cross over. And that's where we get some of the imbalance down in the pelvis. So we're going to start on his left side and just do some myofascial release up through the erectors. And the erector muscles are the muscles that run from your sacrum and your pelvis straight up your spine, covering your ribs up, and they run straight up the body. We feel down here in this lower left, he's got a little bit of tension on the lower left side. And you guys can see just with a little bit of muscle work how we get this nice blood response, this nice skin response, which is telling us that we are absolutely increasing circulation throughout the muscular system around the spine. He's got a few little tight areas on this left side. You can feel like right there, dude. A little bit of tension down in the low back. But definitely on the right side, we can already feel in the right side lower back, right through his like T12, L1, L2, up here around his T8, 9, 6, or excuse me, like 6, 7, 8, right through here. He's got a little bit of congestion in the rib cage. And I just want you, Seth, to work on deep breath in and exhale out. And right where we pointed out, he's got some moderate muscle tension, muscle congestion. I really like the word congestion. It's just like things get stuffed up. And what I'm doing here, guys, I get my knuckles. So number one, I have a like a rubber or a silicone ring on, so I'm not, I don't have to change my wedding ring when I come to work. I'm not using a metal ring, which would hurt a patient's back. We do a lot of just a lot of muscle work, so it's important that we don't hurt the patient as we're doing it. And the silicone rings are amazing because it allows us to really get right on our knuckles, either the proximal knuckles or the middle kind of phalange knuckles, right in the middle portion of the hands. And that gives me great ability to really strip out some of the tight spots. Good. All right, man. Let's check this right leg again. And almost heel to butt. We're just touching it. Let's check this left leg again. Bend up here. And a little better. Now we're about like a 1/2 inch to an inch, not the 1.5 inches or the 2 inches. We can really force this leg here, but it'll take a couple treatments plus some post-adjustment rehab work to really open up the hip flexors. All right, let's get into the mid-back adjustment. Go ahead, just put your arms down on the ground for me, Seth. Take deep breath in for me. Exhale, whole way out. Whole way down. Good. All right, deep breath in. Exhale out, whole way down. Whole way down. Good. Deep breath in. And exhale out, whole way down. All right. One more in. And exhale out, whole way out. All right. So, adjustments in the mid-back. Vertebrae, they get kind of sticky in different positions. Most of the time, they get stuck in a flexion position. The flexion position is that forward position. The adjustments we deliver help to free up the vertebrae and the spinal column to really just be able to extend back a little bit more. You guys will see after we finish up how he can raise his right arm up overhead a little easier. Now, let's check the CT. The CT junction, CT, cervicothoracic, that means neck meets mid-back. And you got your CT junction right here in the base of the neck. So we're going to do a little, all right, one more here. All right, man, great work. Face me over here, left side up for me. Bend this top leg. Then we're going to cross here to here. We're going to get a nice palm contact right on his lower vertebrae. We're going to roll a little bit. All right, other side. Straighten your bottom leg. One little scooch. Head up. Here, here. Deep inhale. Deep exhale. All right, flatten your back. Relax his foot. And then just relax your foot, good. Big time stiffness in the big toe. Feel how stiff that guy is? Yeah. So you guys have seen in other videos we're big on foot treatment. The feet. Good. All right, knees. Now in his case, we saw how the feet point out a little bit, right? So we're going to adjust the tibia, the femur, the tibia, and the fibula into a little bit of an internal rotation position so that we can start to get a better bow set, which means an outward or a varus lean of his leg so that his knees don't start to cave in. And we start to get like medial meniscus pain, IT band issues. We can see as he lays here, just that how his knees just kind of slightly bend in a little bit. That's a valgus position. So we're going to get him on the slant boards. Good. And this guy here. All right, buddy. We're going to get him on the slant boards. Start to talk about correct squat exercises. Elbow. Just relax for me. Okay. One here. This side's good. All right, hands right here in your thighs. And we know from his initial, one more there, relax. Good. One more here. All right, that's all good, cleared out. Sit up tall for me. Spin to the right. Right shoulder. Left shoulder. See how loose? Mm-hmm. So, Initially, his right shoulder was all adhesed, it was tight, it was compressed. Long-term compression in a joint does not do good for us. It causes tendinitis, causes inflammation, causes bursitis, and causes irritation of the rotator cuff muscles. So when we do his little shoulder pump here, his left shoulder is beautiful, his left glenohumeral head pumps back into the joint nicely. Now his right shoulder is not 100% is where the left is, but it is much better. It's probably about 80%, and that's just after one adjustment. Raise this left arm up. See how easy? Back down, right arm up. Way back. Feel the range of motion difference.
Oh yeah.
Amazing, right, dude? Mm-hmm. All right, so this is Seth's first appointment here in the office. We did neck adjustment, CT adjustment, mid-back throughout the thoracic spine. We got beautiful movement down in the low back. We adjusted both elbows. Right elbow here, you heard a very loud cavitation. That's because his whole right extremity was kind of rolled in that forward rounded shoulder position. And all of our adjustments helped to set him more into his back chain. So we do a lot of back chain scapular work, elbow work to really open up the forearm, reduce muscle tension down in the forearm, the bicep, and the front of the shoulder. We did some muscle work up in his neck. We adjusted his feet. We're going to send Seth out of here with a very simple exercise. You're going to put both hands back here on your butt. And every hour for about 20 or 30 seconds, I want you to just kind of press your hands into your hips, roll your shoulders big time back. Give me a little pump over on the left side, and then just a little pump over on the right side. And just start to notice how that right shoulder is a little weaker or a little tighter. Mm-hmm. Left side comes back a little easier than the right side does. And this is an exercise that's going to help him to activate his lats, his teres minor, and his back chain. He's going to do this every 20 or 30 minutes throughout the day, even if it's only for just 5 or 10 seconds, to help develop better strength in the mid-back, to open up the shoulder complex, to reduce tightness up in the front of the chest and up into the neck muscles. Okay? Great work, man. We'll see you guys on future videos. Listen to the adjustments. We got great adjustments out of this guy today. We blew his CT junction up. We didn't get too much in the cervical spine adjustment because we got a lot of stuff to move in the CT. A lot of times that movement's going to go through the entire cervical spine, but all good stuff today. All right, peace out.